Welcome to my live stream. This is Coach Meg. I am live streaming from London. And let me know where you're watching from. I've started a bit later than I planned, but here we are. Good to see you here. Let me know where you're watching from as you join. We're going to talk about your personal brand, building a strong presence online so you can attract your ideal customers and clients and have an advantage so that you are not relying on one revenue stream, which is your job, or just your business. You may have a business and you've got a few clients here and there, but it may feel unpredictable, it's not reliable. So you want a system that helps you to generate quality leads every single week. I was on a live stream on TikTok the other day, and somebody asked me how to make sure that you are generating leads every single week for your business. I think the person that was asking me about that is a web designer, and they've followed my journey. They've been seeing me doing live streams on TikTok every now and again when I do. And so they had some questions which I was addressing then, and we will discuss on here. And whenever you join this live stream, whenever you come on board, we are discussing starting a YouTube channel. We are discussing building a personal brand, building a strong presence online so that you will reap the rewards long term. Yes. One of the things that I enjoy about working online is if you are showing up on a consistent basis, you are promoting your products and your services, you're educating your audience, you're letting them know what's happening in the online space. And sometimes just lifestyle content. It's not always educational marketing. Sometimes it's just your lifestyle, your journey, your challenges, what you have overcome, and what you're working through. That makes you relatable. That makes it easy for people to get to know you, like you, and trust you. And the power of that is, I don't know about you, but I don't know, it's impactful for me anyway. Because it means the online space has leveled the playing field for all of us. Big companies can advertise online, so can you. Big companies can promote their services and products online, so can you. And what you have to think is not imagine that you have to compete with the big companies, big tech giants. That's wild. That's insane. What you have to think is, who do I want to be talking to? So we're going to be discussing that on this live stream. And I'm just waiting for YouTube to do its thing, do its magic, so that the right people join the live stream, others who are coming, and then we will just get into it. Just having a sip of my orange juice. So we are going to talk about your personal brand, how to develop your personal brand, how to build your personal brand, and why it matters. Because you're probably asking, why is that a big deal, Meg? Why is that a big deal, Coach Meg? Why do I need to worry about my personal brand? Your personal brand matters because otherwise you will be limited to the industry that you are comfortable with. What does that mean? Say you come from, like, my background is healthcare. I came from a nursing background. That's what I did for 3 decades, and I've lived and worked in 3 different countries. So it's been quite an adventure. Or you may have a teaching background, or you may have a chef background, or you may have a legal background. You may work as a paralegal, or you may work as a lawyer, a personal injury lawyer, or, there's different types of lawyers. That could be your field. Or you can come from a medical background. You've been working as a medical doctor for many years. I worked with medical doctors. Some of my peers and my colleagues that I worked with had so many different backgrounds that it was interesting working up close with somebody to notice a difference in how people perceive their work and their lifestyle in general. So it's something that I talk about even on LinkedIn. I've started building my account on LinkedIn, and I want to encourage you, if you want to be on this journey and this resonates with me. I want a change in my life. I have too much stress. I don't like my work environment. Building your personal brand is a huge advantage because it helps you to escape the traditional corporate conditioning, I call it. Corporate conditioning is where you believe your environment is that's all there is. And I know this is not easy because wherever you work, whatever industry you're in, you may feel like that's your whole world. And I can understand that. That's how I used to think too when I was in healthcare. One of my challenges when I was planning my exit, it was a, what's the word? It was a slow exit from healthcare. Because I remember one night, right? This is really interesting for me. One night I was sat on the nurse's station and it was busy as usual. The day was chaotic, it was wild, and every day was different. And I know that was part of what I enjoyed. Every day was different. Every single day you walked into the department, either wherever I was working, you don't know what type of patients are going to come in, what type of personalities are going to come in. But I remember one particular day, that day was chaotic. You know, we had somebody who was on a kidney machine, kidney dialysis, and then we had somebody else who had gone for major surgery for their back. I can't remember who the other patients were and what they had. But that evening I was sat on that table. It had quiet, it was calm, it had quieted down. There wasn't much going on. All the patients were on life support. Maybe we had a few, one or two that had just come off life support. But I remember that it was really quiet. You could hear a pin drop because everybody was sedated. Just like in real life, if you want to get better, sometimes you have to get rid of the noise. You have to get rid of the noise, the chaos, the drama, everybody else's opinion, and just get yourself quiet. When you get yourself quiet, it's amazing how you start seeing what the next step is. When you get rid of all the noise, you start to listen to your own instinct. You start to listen to your own wisdom, which is God given, by the way, whatever you believe. It's amazing how when you sit quiet, you're like, okay, this is what I need to solve. This is what I need to do next. I'm not sure what the whole picture is, but this is what I can control. I remember a coach talking about this one day, how he he had lost so much money, in the thousands, I think millions he was talking about. And he was feeling a little bit, like, not a little bit, really anxious and panicking because he knew what it was like to be financially stranded. Him and his family had lost everything. So that memory was still in him, that when he started having money problems, he would start going into this state of panic. That's how I was interpreting it when he was sharing his story. I was like, wow, it's amazing that when you go through something dramatic, it can take a while to get over that. But this is the wise thing that he did. He realized I may be out of this expensive hotel because his lifestyle had now become so, really good. He was enjoying it. Nice cars, nice hotels, etc., etc. But he started panicking because he had lost a lot of money. I won't go into the details, it's a little bit too technical, but anyway, they couldn't figure things out in the business. This is going to help somebody. Then he decided, you know what, if I'm going to be thrown out of this hotel, I might as well enjoy the few days that I've got. It's all paid for, all the food is paid for, my chef is paid for. I might as well enjoy this moment right now. And that's what he did. And while he was just relaxing, chilling, just enjoying the moment, unaware what's going to happen, this is so powerful. As he got calm and just released that fear, that anxiety, he remembered something. He remembered the assets that he had in his business. Because this is somebody else's story, I won't go into the details, but it is worth understanding something. When he was calm and just like, I'm going to enjoy the moment, very important to understand. I'm just going to enjoy the moment. I'm going to live in the moment. I'm going to be present in the moment. He suddenly had this idea, like, and said to himself, you idiot, how did you forget about that? In his own words. And he followed through with that idea and made $1 million in one day. I know you'll probably fall back like, what? That can't be true. Okay, whatever. It's up to you. And that problem was sorted in the shortest time possible. We all have different fears, right? And this is what I challenge myself to not get comfortable in that state of fear, because all states exist, as in the story I was just sharing with you. I've been in that place where I'm sat in this restaurant thinking, I messed up. I made a choice that I didn't realize would become like I can't get out, like I'm stuck in this situation. And as I was in the restaurant, I'll never forget, I had never been taught this before. But as I was sitting in that restaurant thinking, how do I move forward? How did I end up in this situation? Just thinking about it, like very objectively. I wasn't being harsh on myself. I was just being objective and thinking, okay, how do we sort this out? How do I make a better choice so that my outcomes are different? I was just calm, watching the sun, just like now here in London. The sunshine is so good. It is amazing. In that calm state, I like to say I had a moment of divine inspiration. And it was just so quiet. Like, you are not stuck. This is not how your story always has to be. You can make a different choice. Think about it. Like in that coach's story that I told you, and my own story. Just as I'm calm and just enjoying the moment, I can't even remember whether I bought a coffee or had a cold drink. I can't remember what that was, or a squash rather. But I was really calm and just present. I was present with me. This is so important to understand, because this is going to help you if you really think about it. Where you just become centered and you're just like, I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm fine. All this chaos and all that's been going on cannot destroy me, because who I am inside is more powerful than what is happening on the outside. As I was sat in that restaurant, this moment of inspiration, I also like to call it the vision board, I just had this moment of clarity, like, oh, I'm okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. And I won't go into detail. Some of the information that I have there is for my private community, for paid members. Because if I've learned anything in working with people in my 3 decades in healthcare, is when there's no commitment on your part, you will pay for courses and coaching programs that you don't follow through. And then you'll turn around and say it doesn't work. That's not true. If we are not willing to follow through with the ideas that we get, or like now, right? You're watching this live stream and you're like, or whenever you watch it, you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm not even sure where I need to start. What you want to do is just give yourself that space to just be quiet and calm and remember. I can feel this as I'm sharing this. Remember that you are okay, that you are enough, that you've got everything you need right here, right now, in this moment. Because there's something about just getting yourself calm, peaceful, at rest, like it's okay. It is fine. It is well. Everything is going to be okay. It's funny how your brain just starts to figure things out. At that point, in my case anyway, I had never known about a coach. I'd never known about a vision board. But all I remember was having this moment of divine inspiration that it's going to be okay. This is not over. Your story is not over. You don't have to continue feeling miserable or wondering what the heck am I going to do. You don't have to. And that moment prepared me for where everything else started to happen. I think about, at that time I was working for a private hospital in South Africa. I never documented this. I wish I did, but I know how it happened. The time frame I can't quite remember, but all I remember was around that same time, one day I was working in the intensive care department. I seem to like these chaotic, places. And I said that to say there's something about working in organized chaos that you learn to be focused, you learn to get centered, you learn to cut out the noise and just focus on your patients, what's going on with them, what's the medication. So anyhow, I was working in another intensive care department hospital, and one of my colleagues, I remember saying to me, Meg, there's some hospitals that are hiring nurses who want to go overseas. Would you like to go? I can't even remember what the conversation was about, but whatever the conversation was about, it was somebody who I had worked with for a while who knew my mindset. So when she heard about a good opportunity, she wasn't like, oh, I'm going to hold this from Meg or gatekeeping any information. No, she was just like, Meg, have you heard? There's some hospitals hiring nurses who want to go overseas. There's some hospitals. It's like, oh, okay. I'm going for the interview. You want to come? And she gave me all the details, blah, blah, blah. So on our days off, we went. We got, you know, I got the job. I think it's Jack Canfield who said, I haven't read the whole book, but I've read some of his quotes, who said, or is it Jim Rohn? I'm not sure who, but one of those speakers said, focus, when you're trying to change your life or make some important changes, focus all your energy on where you're going, not where you've been. And somebody said to me the other day on the live stream that it's Tony Robbins who said, it takes a lot of effort to keep going downwards mentally, psychologically, and getting yourself and settled in a place of depression. It is actually harder to do that. And I remember thinking, that is true. We are wired for problems. We have the challenges, get it solved. Sometimes it's short term, sometimes it's long term, but you keep moving forward. That's our normal state, actually. Just like in this coach, the one that I gave you the story earlier, how after all his challenges, he doesn't know where the money is going to come from. He's going to be stranded. He made $1 million in the same day. Like, whoa, dude. Later on, he talks about how if anybody says to me, you're very lucky and all this, I would be like, are you crazy? If there's anybody who's unlucky, it's me. It's like if anything is going to go wrong, it will happen with me. He saved somebody's life after a party, and that person ends up suing him for 6 figures. He said, because I just don't care. And I was like, that's one of the things I think I like about him, because I have the same attitude. You don't like me, I don't care. What's that got to do with anything? You support me, I don't care. What has that got to do with anything? You're with me, I don't care. What's that got to do with anything? As long as I'm with me, that's what matters. I hope this helps somebody. It doesn't matter who supports you, doesn't support you, likes you, doesn't like you. As long as you support yourself, you stand by yourself, you become unstoppable. I kid you not. I don't know. It looks like some of us, we are wired for some of these things because of where we're going, the way we are built, the way we are wired. You can't collapse with whatever makes everybody else collapse. Because where you're going is too big. Am I speaking to somebody? Where you're going is too big. You have to decide. Like in my case, I don't care. Relationships. You thought it was going to be a forever relationship. You realize this is not what I signed up for. I'm not going to settle in this kind of mess for the rest of my life with my eyes wide open. I'm out. So let's talk about your personal brand. I was just giving you some background story to help you understand that you cannot allow things to hold you down. What you need to understand is no matter what is going on, find a space where you calm yourself down. And I know what it's like. I've been in those spaces. And I can't guarantee how I will always respond to some things that happen in life. Some things it's just like, what the heck? And then I remember and calm myself down. But when it comes to important decisions, it really matters to just calm yourself down. Okay? And I can understand sometimes because of unprocessed trauma, you can have the same triggers responding the same way. Remember this, When we keep responding the same way to the same life challenges, those challenges will keep coming until we start responding differently. That happened in my case anyway. I just had this moment of divine inspiration, like, I keep responding the same way. What? If somebody does this or does that, I'm responding the same way. Is that helping me? It's not helping me. Because listen to this, I worked in healthcare for over 3 decades. One of the most powerful things that I observed in myself and with my patients, you can imagine working in 3 different countries, I've met different types of patients, all types of backgrounds, all types of cultures. But this is what I noticed about humans. I should perhaps do a research paper based on what I experienced and what I observed. What I noticed was any individual that was proactive about their health and well being, their relationships, their finances, the outcomes in their lives, any individual that was proactive, they were fully engaged, they were present in their life, they were not self medicating or trying to escape. These are the individuals I observed enjoyed a better quality of life. Does it mean everything was working or everything was perfect? Of course not. Of course not. It's deciding, it's not about what's not working. What is working for me right now? What is working for me? If you can inhale oxygen and release the carbon dioxide, that is a lot working for you. I know it may not feel like, but that is a lot working for you. Because if you're breathing and you're still here, that means with some help and some support, you will get to where you need to go. That is why it matters to understand how to build a support system around you of people that are, it's not about codependency, but you understand what you bring to the support system and what they bring to you. You don't want to always be the giver in a relationship or friendships or your support system. You also want to be able to receive. Yes? Because if you're the only one giving, that at some point builds resentment. So don't be the one who's always giving. Sometimes you have to slow down and allow others to also give to you. Allow others to also support you. I know you super women, you super men. It matters that sometimes others are supporting you. Yes, it matters that others are supporting you. So going back to your personal brand, I know you may even hear about this. You know, there are many influencers online right now, many topics around personal branding. You want to take advantage of these kind of discussions. You want to go on YouTube University and start learning and understanding what is personal branding, because you're going to hear many different perspectives, okay? Here is my perspective, how I understand it and how I transformed my identity from not settling for a healthcare job title and deciding that I am more than my job title. Because as I made that decision, my mind started opening up to what else is out there, what else is possible for me. And I started to notice what I'm also good at. Apart from being a great healthcare professional that I was, I believe, up to now, I don't have any strange record when I worked in healthcare. As far as I know, nobody has ever come up to me and said, you didn't treat me right and da 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 da. No. I'm police checked too, by the way. I don't have any weird, strange stuff on my reports. And I enjoyed my healthcare days. One of the things that I think I enjoyed the most was when I worked for Bupa group of hospitals. What I enjoyed and I noticed is the difference from working in the NHS. When I worked in the NHS, it was fun, it was good to a point. But one of the things that got me concerned was I couldn't really spend quality time with my patients. It's like you have to rush through every patient. You know, you've got so many patients to look after and to support. And let me say, for anybody listening and hearing this, get as much information as you can about your medical condition. Okay, this is just a side note. Get as much information as you can about your symptoms. You can check online. And if you want to know more, like Coach may give me some recommendations, leave me a message and I'll send you some more information. I also do health and wellness coaching to help you to take full advantage of your health and well being, to make the most of your health and well being, and not to just rely on the healthcare industry. Because remember, these are institutions with their own challenges. Absolutely, we expect the best from our professionals. Absolutely. But the more you know about what you are dealing with, the better you are. You can ask the right questions. Doctor, what about this? This is what I've noticed. And be straight up and honest. I may not fully understand this, but this is what I noticed. Could it be this? Or I'm getting concerned about that. And what I mean by that, disclaimer, do not self diagnose. Do not say that coach told me. It's on you. What you do with the information I'm giving you is your 100% responsibility. Full disclosure, okay? What I am saying is get as much information as you can about the condition that you are dealing with, or the symptoms that you're having, or you haven't been resting well, yes, or you're getting headaches. Whatever it is, because some of you, it could be a really simple thing and you don't know, but do not self diagnose. I've been, when I'm online doing some research, wow, people do ask important questions. What do I do if this? You know, there's many different things that people ask according to whatever you're going through. So check out what seems to be going on and just Google. Now with AI, go to ChatGPT 5. But do not diagnose yourself, okay? You want to work with somebody who's got the training, the qualification, and who is willing to take responsibility to support you on your journey, because there's some outcomes that it will be a right mess. Okay, and what I want to add on that is, the more you know about what's going on, how you've been feeling the last few days, the more you will take action quickly. Okay, this is so important to understand, but do not diagnose yourself. Full disclosure. Anyhow, now that we said that out of the way, let's go back to your personal brand. Like I said earlier on, in my understanding from my own journey and working with others and many others, your personal brand is you deciding, I am more than my job title, I am more than my marital status, divorced or not, single or not. You are not limited by your age either. You are not limited. Your personal brand is you deciding, I'm not limited by my age. Because too many of us, we listen to what other people say about us or about a certain age, and instead of picking up the pace, you start to slow down. You may start to feel like, oh, I need to slow down now at this stage in my life. You know, things are going to be winding down. No. If you're over 50, this is a new chapter in your life. It's not downwards. Your life is not spiraling downwards. Understand that. Your life is not spiraling downwards. Understand that. This is a new chapter in your life. This is a new opportunity in your life. I was watching a Korean drama the other day, and I love Korean drama. It's one of my favorite date nights. In this family, the mom and her children, they were too close. So close that they were now living like siblings. And so somebody challenged the mom and said, are you sure you just want to continue living with your children? Are you sure you don't want to start traveling, doing different things? Have you noticed? Before the friend could even finish, it was like, yeah, I realize my daughter is exhausted. She's been doing so much work, but I want her to live her life. That was the storyline. But isn't that just true, like to real life? We can hold on to a chapter in our life that is over. Yes, a chapter in your life that is over. If you are over 40, you're over 50, you're over 60, I want to remind you, it's just a chapter in your life that is now gone, or you're moving towards retirement. That's a chapter in your life that is gone. Now a new chapter begins because of personal branding. This is what gets me excited. You may even be retired actually, and you're like, oh, what do I do with myself? What do I do with my time? You may be wondering, what do I do with my time now? My resources, what do I do? You can rebrand. This is a chapter now in your life that you can decide, what am I going to start working on? You can decide, what do I need to be working on now? How can I use the knowledge I've gained so far in my life, in business, in my career, in my family, in my relationships, in my church life? What have I gained? In fact, I want to challenge all of you. If you're over 50 or you are retired, this is not the time to wind down. This is the time to set up your YouTube channel. And I want to help you with that. This is the time to set up your YouTube channel. I want to take you on a journey of real transformation, okay? Because as you come on this journey with me, I have a coaching program that's about 8 weeks. Another one is about 12 weeks. And it's only for those who are willing to be committed to this journey. So there is a different investment from somebody who just wants a one-off. If you want a one-off with me, I was doing it like for 129. It's now up to 169. If you wait too long, maybe the next time you want to work with me, it will be 500. So make the most of this opportunity. If you find my video and you're not sure what to do, I would do whatever it takes to get a coach to help you to move to the next chapter of your life. Yes? Imagine being in this space after we work together. I'm supporting you and keeping track with you. We're doing analytics. We're looking at what's working online and what's not working. We're deep diving. That's the word I was looking for. Some of you, within 6 months, everything is going to change. Some of you, it will be 3 months. Some of you, it may take 12 months. But whatever it is, whatever time frame, because it's going to happen anyway, because you know your present and future self is already happening, right? So imagine we go together on this journey. I'm there to support you, to hold your hand. I won't leave you by yourself. You just start feeling more confident. You just notice that I'm really happy with who I am. You start to notice that you're comfortable in your own skin. Isn't that a great feeling? Imagine being in the space where you realize there's no limits in my life anymore. Imagine being in this space where you are resting so well that your hormones start to get balanced. You're no longer just reacting and screaming at everybody. You're no longer easily triggered. Imagine being in that kind of space. What would that feel like for you? And I'm serious, I'm just going to pause a little bit. What would that feel like for you? Where you are just so chilled, you're so relaxed, you're so at rest, you're so happy with who you are. You go to a party in a room full of a lot of strangers. You are not waiting for anybody to affirm you or to acknowledge you. You scan the room, you decide if you want to stay or not. I think that's amazing. Where you're no longer relying on external validation. That is amazing. So I'm just waiting for you. Just waiting for you to think about it. Just pausing, enjoying my apple and orange juice. What is that like for you? Think about it. What would that feel like? When the family is, this one is over there, that one is over there, and you're just like, what's happening with my children? Because some of us, we have adult children and they freak you out. You feel like you're going to get hypertension because of your children. Oh, if you have adult children and you are feeling like that, that is not okay. That is not okay that you raised your kids, you struggled with them. Now you're older and you're still stressing out. That is not okay. That is not okay. That is not okay. Because unnecessary, mismanaged stress can lead to long-term conditions, right? As I mentioned to you, I've worked in healthcare for 3 decades. That can lead to hypertension. So working with me is to protect you from long-term illness. Think about it. What's what is the long-term value of that? I'm just going to pause. I'm going to sit here with you for a little bit. What's the long-term value of realizing, oh, working with Coach Meg, I can release some of this negative, toxic energy that could potentially cause long term illness in my body? What would that feel like for you? What is that like for you? Can you even put an amount on that? If I said 10K, would you think, oh, that's too much? 10K, 15K, 25K, 100K, 250K. I'll just keep going with the numbers. 500K, 7 figures, 8 figures. You see where I'm going with this, right? That it's priceless. To get to that space in your life where you are no longer stressed about the things that used to stress you out before. Where if you are dealing with hypertension, your blood pressure starts to get better. You start regulating it. Think about it. That's priceless, right? Because you're working, here's another scenario. You're working with me, and your relationship with your adult children starts to get better. Because you realize you have nothing to prove anymore. You realize you have no one to impress anymore. What is that like? Where you are willing and you are ready to release your children. You're not waiting for their validation anymore. You are now focused on building your life, this chapter of your life. What is that like? What is that like? Think about it. That's priceless. Seriously, that is priceless. Here's another scenario. You decide, Coach Meg, I need some support and I need to make some changes. And you start feeling comfortable in your own skin again. You appreciate you. You are fully present in your own life. I can feel this right now. What would that mean for you? Where you no longer need to be in any toxic relationship because you're so comfortable in your own skin. You no longer seek external validation. You decide, you know what, I'm going to love myself a little bit more. I'm going to start working on projects that are serving and supporting my dream lifestyle. Think about it. What is that like for you? What would that be like for you? You are no longer waiting for affirmation from a toxic work culture. What is that like for you? Or rather, what would that feel like for you? Think about it. I'm slowing down because I want you to think like, oh my goodness, that part of me still exists. That part of you is still here in all this chaos and all this drama and all this nonsense, I like to call it. I'm over 50 and there's so many things I realize, wow, there's so many things that you don't need to invest your time in. You don't need to invest your time in. There's some discussions, some arguments, just retreat. Retreat is not failure. You decide I have nothing to prove. That's an ego thing. I got nothing to prove. In fact, I remember in my healthcare days when I walked away from this one particular healthcare job I had at the time. Because at the time, I want to inspire and encourage somebody. At the time, I actually felt like I was overqualified for that department, right? I had a lot of skills behind me. I had enough experience in my story. But somehow I didn't get a higher position. And I'm so grateful now because as I look back, I realize I would have been limited. And there are times I laugh really hard because that is clearly where my mind was at the time. That, oh, if I get a promotion in this job, I'll make more money. But guess what? More money probably meant like what? An extra £500? Are you joking? That is rude, actually. That is rude. To be offered an extra £500 when you have so much experience to bring, when you have leadership skills to contribute, to be offered, I don't know, it feels like a scam for me. You get the title, but that's like a right old scam. You get the title to just become another little puppet. That is so rude. When I didn't get the role, within 30 days, I put in my notice. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, what am I doing here anyway? I had enough sense to realize I've been working so hard. I'm usually one of the last ones to leave, but somebody doesn't even think I deserve better. I'm not going to stay. Within 30 days, I put in my notice. And around the time I was making handmade jewelry, different little pieces, I was using gemstones. It was so much fun. The freedom, like, I'm out of that. It felt like I had been in a cage. When you're a tiger and you're in a cage, you can start causing problems. You have to get out because you need more room, you need more space. Some of you, as you're watching me, as you're listening to this, you know. That's why you're watching this. It's about time. You are way better. You know you can do more, you can contribute more. But there's a part of you that is afraid. There is a part of you that is afraid. What if it doesn't work out? What if my business doesn't take off? What if it works, my friend? What if it works because you've got a coach? I'm supporting you. I'm here to encourage you. You're part of a community of people who are doing the same thing. They're on the same journey. That's the trouble with being self-isolated, this insular mindset. It's better to be part of a community of individuals who are on the same journey. The entrepreneur journey is the most exciting. As you can hear on here, one of the services I provide is to help you with your online marketing, help you with online visibility, offline too, through events. So it's a service, okay? But I do it on my own terms. For example, even yesterday, today's Monday, right? Yesterday, I was like, let me go and do another live stream on another platform, not this one, on another platform. I normally do a lot of live streams on that platform and I've made some money on there. Sometimes I've had some clients who, you know this term, people need to get to know you, like you, and trust you. No, some of my paid clients saw me once, they liked my energy, and what I was talking about was in line with what they want to accomplish. Just after one live session, it was like, Coach Meg, sign me up. What do I need to do? Where do I send the money? Which email address must I use? Because I redesigned my lifestyle. I redesigned my personal brand. I decided I'm not just a healthcare professional, I'm also an individual with different tastes, different things that I like. I like to do different things. So, anyway, going back to the live stream, I said to myself, I don't need to be on that live stream. There was no obligation. I decided I'll come on today. Isn't that amazing? You can show up as and when you choose. Now, I am not saying you don't have discipline and focus to be doing all the activities that, what's the term? Move the needle forward. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about lack of focus and discipline. Do not misquote me. That is on you. I have so much content online. I don't need to do any other video. All I need to do right now, in fact, for the next 6 months, is repurpose some of my content. I don't need to do any free content anymore. Is this helping you? I hope this is helping you and you are thinking it's time for me to take action. Yes, because action takers are the money makers. People are willing to take action consistently, maintaining momentum. These are people who, at some point, you're calling in millions. Just one phone call. Okay, where do I transfer the money to? I don't know about you. The cost of living keeps getting higher and higher. So to settle for one job, one revenue stream is not safe anymore. It is not safe anymore. Such that what I mean by this is even when you start your business, some of you are watching and you're like, oh, I've tried before, it didn't work out. You can't just have one revenue stream. Even with your business, you need to have a variety of products. In my coaching offers, I have a variety of packages. And when I'm talking about personal branding, I have three types of packages just around personal branding. Just around personal branding, I have three types of packages. When you go to the supermarket, you see different types of price points, right? For the same product. So even for your business, if you're a service-based business, say for example, you decide to do commercial cleaning. If you need any support with that, let me know. I will help you and guide you to get into that space. Especially for those of you who may be thinking of transition and you're like, I don't need any more office politics, gossip, drama, chaos, toxicity. Cleaning is one of those things that you can do that will just help you to detox and just get yourself back on your feet again. Because it's just, there's something about cleaning that just makes you feel like you're cleaning your own cobwebs in your own head. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like you're cleaning your own cobwebs, or the lies that you have believed about your identity. And if you are sharp and you are like, I am not going to do the same thing like I've always done, you will get a few people on board, ask them to help you. So it's not just cleaning, you can also add cleaning products that you're selling on your website online. Come on. You can be selling cleaning uniforms. You can be selling t-shirts. This is how you stand out in the marketplace in where it looks like there's a lot of noise. A lot of people are doing that. Oh, I don't want to try that. It depends on you. How do you want? Do you want to do like what everybody else is doing, or do you want to be different? You can be in the same industry but do something completely different. And now you have artificial intelligence. Come on. You have ChatGPT. You can create lead magnets so that you can attract your ideal clients. This is so good. You can see where we're going here, right? That your personal brand is you setting yourself apart from everybody else. Where you determine that I am not my setbacks, what didn't work, what worked, because even success, we can't settle on past success. Be very afraid of the settling mindset. Be very afraid of the settling mindset. Be very afraid of settling. Be very afraid of settling. Be very afraid of settling. Especially after over 40, over 50, it is good to keep your brain active. It is good to keep your muscles working. I love walking. I do a lot of walking. I used to enjoy aerobics a lot. I don't do it as much now. Not that I'm too tired or I'm too old. No, it works with my lifestyle where I'm at. And when I feel like it, I do aerobics as well. But walking is one of the best forms of exercise. No effort involved. Just go from here to there. Or you can be intentional about it and do your 10,000 steps, whatever your thing is, right? So, your personal brand, let's talk about some practicals. Right now, I'm going to now speak to those of you who are experts, you have expertise, or you have the potential to become a thought leader. You've been in this industry for a while, for many years. You have the potential to become a thought leader. Okay. That means you're going to be contributing your ideas, start writing books, and start generating multiple revenue streams, not just one. leave your legacy behind so that when you go, when your time comes, you've got a book. You've got books, more than one book, hopefully. You have a YouTube channel. Your family can see you on YouTube. Or some of us who are international, because of your presence online, you can start sharing your ideas with your family. And that's also a good way to start. You can decide, you know what, let me give some wisdom to my family. I can't always see them. And I know, you can use WhatsApp, of course. And maybe let me move away from that. Let's just stick to the professional aspect. If you have the potential to become a thought leader, you have observed some ideas in your industry, you have observed some challenges, rather, I meant to say, and you've been thinking, if we could do this way, a better way, we wouldn't have this kind of problem. For example, I remember when I was living in one city here in the United Kingdom, and I noticed the waiting list for the local doctors. And I know there's probably solutions now in that space. I haven't been looking at that, but anyhow, and I remember thinking there has to be a better way of managing this, because a doctor has only so much time to spend with each of his patients, right? So for those who don't show up, they are taking somebody else's space that really needs to speak to a doctor, somebody who needs a doctor to attend to them, or a nurse, whatever the case may be. And I remember thinking at the time, there has to be a better way to solve this problem. What else? The other thing that I observed when I worked in healthcare, working nights, here is an idea I'm going to put out there. Probably controversial, but it's my perspective. If I was running a chain of hospitals, if I had a hospital, I had a private hospital, I would not want my staff to be working full time, 5 days a week or 7 days a week. I think that is not sustainable long term. That is not sustainable. I would highly recommend my rota to be, you can only work 3 days or 4 days. The rest of the days is up to you. Okay, let me even make it tighter than that. Only 3 days. You can only work 3 days. Maybe it's something that we need to do. We need to consider and think about in the healthcare industry. Maybe more people will stay. Maybe more professionals will stay in the industry if they're not working such long hours. Maybe we need to revamp that. Nobody has ever looked at it that way. I think those hours are too long. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Doctors leave, they become content creators. Nurses leave, they start their own other businesses. Paramedics, you know. Because we have to think, why is there always a shortage in the healthcare industry? That's an issue we have to address. We can't just keep pushing it under the carpet. This has got to do more than with a pay rise. It's the working conditions. I think it's not sustainable to be working 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week and then taking a week off, or working nights. I put a video actually here already on my channel. The dangers of working nights on your health long term. If you go and watch that video, in the next 30 days, you're going to start making a plan to stop working nights, whatever industry you're in. I'm only speaking for the healthcare industry, but I know there are other jobs where you have to work nights. Could be you work in a factory perhaps, or you have to be on call for nights. Your health is at risk if you work nights for too long. Because remember this, nobody else should care about your health more than you. Nobody else must care about your health more than you. Nobody else must care and worry and be concerned about your health and wellness more than you. Do not accept that that's the only way you can make money. That's not true. Because we're going to be talking about this, the practical things you can start doing now to help you, to support you. Yes? So your personal brand. Here is some recommendations I want to give. Your personal brand, make sure that you have a strong presence online or you are working towards it. That's what I've been doing. While I was working, in fact, in the community in healthcare, I was still doing live streams. I was still showing up online. I remember having a family I was helping with family coaching, one of their family members, their mom. I've had several families that I worked with, by the way. But one of the things that I did, my approach, because of my thinking as a personal brand, I wasn't just like, oh, I'm a caregiver. No, I was like a family coach because I would be speaking to the adult children. I would be giving some ideas, recommending things that they can do better. Some received it, some didn't receive it. Some wanted to do things their own way. There's so much around that space that if you need some support and some help, let me know because I can give you your own self paced workshop or coaching program where you can be asking any questions and you can reach out to me. If you need any help in that space, by the way, you have aging parents and you're not sure what to do, I don't do that full time anymore, but I can help you coaching you remotely. Okay, because according to the Care Quality Commission that monitors the vulnerable and the healthcare industry, I cannot be involved in day to day. I can only coach you and support you. Yes. So if this is something that you're interested in, you have a busy life and you have aging parents and you're like, Meg, I'm pulling my hair. I'm not sure what to do, how to manage my aging parents, and I've got a life and I've got all this going on. Let's talk about it. Okay. All you need is the right support and guidance. What is the best option? Maybe you're thinking, should I take them to a nursing home? I don't know if they'll cope in a nursing home. Oh, I saw something really, I thought was really precious. Demi Moore and her ex husband, Bruce Willis, they are discussing whether he should go and live with her because I think he's got one of these memory loss conditions. I was amazed at what a great relationship. They must have had such a great relationship that even now they've all gone on and had their own other partners, remarried and all that. But that care and support has never left. That is the quality of person you want to be. That if a relationship doesn't work out, somebody still wants to be a part of your journey. That is rare. I think that is so special. I was like, you have to be that kind of person. That even if a relationship doesn't work out, even if you're not together, you can support each other. So going back to the elderly care that I was talking about and supporting aging parents, some of you are business owners, you are so busy, and I know you're supporting your aging parents remotely, and you may be concerned. Yes, I've worked with different types of families, and I did that for like about 8 years. So it is an industry I understand really well, but I don't do that full time. All I can do is guide you, give you your own self paced coaching program. Yes, there's a few, of course, attached to that. And if you have any questions like, Meg, this is what's happening, leave me a message. We are going to discuss, look at, risk assessment, what would probably the best route to go. Because, just a side note, because what you may need to do is maybe put your parents in respite care while you figure things out. Because it's quite challenging and it can be really traumatic sometimes to realize that your parents are not coping and you're like, how do we find the best support? So it may mean finding respite care where your parents go into a well researched facility, okay? So they can stay there for a bit, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, while you figure out what's the best plan. Okay, but do get in touch with me so that we can talk through that. There are many different things that you can do. Do not feel like you are restricted or limited to one way. Okay, or you may want to be partially or almost 80% involved, yes, in the care and support of your parents because you've heard so many different stories on the news and it can be frightening to leave your parents in the care of somebody you don't know. So get in touch with me if this is something that is important to you. Get in touch with me. I have a whole different program for you on that one. Okay? All right. So going back to your personal brand, and I say that to also say you can become a thought leader in your industry. That's why I gave you some of these different examples. You could be a pilot. You've been a pilot for many years. But you can see in the next 10 years, I probably won't be doing this. Instead of just retiring and slowing down and you're going to miss the adventure. You can start helping those who are stepping into the industry. You can start preparing them to become a pilot. The mindset, the skill set. You can even start a certification program. I will support you on that. You can start training others. You can start preparing others. I don't know what your industry is. You can start helping young people who are bored or who they don't know what to do with their lives. You can become a coach as well. You don't know what they don't know what to do with their lives. They're feeling confused, they're feeling a bit lost. They may not have had role models in their lives. You can become a coach for people like that, for young men like that, for men that is, and for women too. If you're a woman pilot, you can start helping young women who are caught up in just chasing relationships and just wasting their time and wasting their lives in useless relationships. Let's be honest, some relationships are useless. It's like, what are you even going to gain? And sadly, the girl sometimes gains more problems than the boy. She now has children to deal with. But the boy is gone. He's moved on to 10 other girls. But she's now lumbered. She didn't plan it. Now she's raising a child that she didn't plan for. And that has its own problems. But that's not what we're talking about. So becoming a thought leader, that is something you can start doing. So you could be working full time in the job that you have. These are just ideas. You don't have to do the way I'm saying it. These are just ideas. But I want to give you a picture of starting to understand that you can live a full life where you are living out your purpose, coaching others, mentoring, supporting. It's it's priceless. The emotional reward is priceless. It is priceless. So that's, we start working on your personal brand, right? Where you are building your purpose, what you're focused on, you're contributing to the well-being of the human race in your own small way. We set up a website because we need the people who are interested in what you have to offer. They need to go somewhere to know more about you, okay? And don't be intimidated by this. If you are really good at what you do, it is time to not hide anymore. Because living out your purpose is amazing. Living out your purpose is amazing. And if you keep ignoring it, there will come a time 10 years, 10 years later, you're like, oh, I should have listened to Coach Meg. This is, it, the reward is priceless. It's beyond just your lifestyle. It's living out your purpose. It's living out your legacy. We all know, we all know that the education system has failed many of us. Some of the training that we did in schools and programs, they haven't even helped us in day-to-day and real life. So you can be part of that change. You can be part of that change that is making a difference in the lives of those that are coming up, those who are rising. I had this thought, by the way. I was thinking about this, that let me know what you think about this. Imagine instead of going to college or uni first, straight away, what about learning a skill, a trade first? What about learning a skill, a trade first? Practical skills. No complications, no children, no marriage, nothing like that. Getting really good at that skill and then going to college. And then maybe going to university because you've got real life skills and you've seen how the marketplace actually works. So that by the time you choose the university or the college, you already have some understanding how the marketplace works, how capitalism works, good capitalism, where you working in the real world where you can formulate your own ideas, your own perspective, like, oh, this is what I learned working over there. Think about it. And then deciding, okay, maybe I'll learn, I can go and become a pilot. I can go to med school. I can become a lawyer. That that's you building a personal brand, having extra qualifications if you so choose. Or you can decide to just be learning online and become an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurship clearly, obviously, is not for everyone. That's why I'm saying this. You develop some skills in the real world, you work with another entrepreneur, you join their business, you are willing to start at ground zero, you're not entitled, you just decide, I'm going to start where I am and work my way. Learn the skills. How is that company bringing in customers? And what type of customers stay? What type of customers never come back? One coach said, there are no secrets to great leadership. Just be a good person. Just be a real person. Treat people right. That's it. There are no secrets to great leadership. Just be a good person and be good to people. And I can't remember who said, if you can't help people, don't harm people. So going back to building your personal brand, right? I'm just watching my time as well. Going back to building your personal brand, here's another thing that you can do. Start documenting everything you've done so far and start looking at where you want to be. Ooh, this is my favorite part. Future self. You go into your future, maybe you are like 70 or 80. How do you want to look back at your life? Do you want to be looking back at your life with regrets because you didn't have the courage to step out of your comfort zone? Do you want to be in your 70s or 80s full of regrets that you didn't have the courage to let go of the pain that people cause? We all, we face relationship challenges. Everybody does. If you are a real human being, somebody's somewhere going to trip you up. And sometimes you don't even expect it. But imagine getting into your 70s and 80s, you've decided, I'm going to forgive people, I'm going to release people, and I'm going to forgive myself too. Now, this is a biblical idea. You may not understand what it means, or you may have heard it from somebody else. It's actually a biblical idea. What that means is you decide to forgive yourself, like, you know what, I messed up, you own your mistakes, and I've learned from that. You reframe the story around that. I'm now going to give myself a new opportunity. And to remember that though you've given yourself a new opportunity, not everyone will be willing to give you a new opportunity. Some people will not be willing to come with you on your new journey. And you should be okay with that. Okay? Be okay with that. Be okay with that. Yes, you reframe the story. And then others too. They messed up. Remember the saying, hurt people hurt others. To the degree somebody looks like they're trying to hurt you, it's because they are carrying that kind of pain. So that's all they know. Does that justify their behavior? No. But you decide, I am not going to allow this toxicity around me. If you're going to keep showing up around me like this, I am not going to accept that. Because to forgive is not to condone or to allow for somebody to continue behaving the same way. No, it's deciding, I'm not accepting that. That's not acceptable. This is not going to fly with me. This is so good. Let's see. I'm just checking something here. Okay, I was just checking something here on the platform. What's this asking me to do? So to build your personal brand, here are 3 important things to understand online. If you're going to build your personal brand online, you want to be determined to become more visible. Yes, visibility is a huge part of building your personal brand online and giving yourself the leverage that you deserve. Because you can be really good at what you do, but if only a few people know about you, or if only one organization knows about you, you will always be limited to that income stream. You will always be limited to that. That's it. But when you decide to build your personal brand, you are listening to what Coach Meg is talking about. This is not me telling you what to do, just giving you some support and guidance that it's time to start considering. Yes. When you are building your personal brand online, you now have more revenue streams that are possible. Think about it. You have now more revenue streams that are possible for you. You're no longer restricted to one revenue streams. JOB, just over broke. You now have more options. You'll be teaching. You'll have products. You can do print on demand. You can do drop servicing. There are so many ideas. I'm not going to go into all those right now, but it's worth starting to think, oh, there is an advantage. There is an advantage to building your personal brand. And you don't have to be like anybody else. There are big influential names online right now, and then there are other smaller names, and then there are some that we are not well known yet. But you can start. It's not even about being well known, it's about providing the services to your ideal audience. That's all that really matters. So you could be a founder, you started your own business, and you may be feeling swamped. You have so much going on, so much to do. Can I offer you some support and guidance? That you need to preserve your energy, you need to take care of yourself for longevity purposes, so that you are building a sustainable business, so that you are not so stressed out. It doesn't have to be that hard. Not with the age of AI. You can now ask ChatGPT to give you a workflow for your type of business, depending on the prompts that you use. And if you need any help with this is part of my offers for my community. Yes, if you are part of my community, you can receive the free newsletter. Absolutely, receive the free newsletter. But you also get all these different tips, things that I'm learning, that are working, things that I'm changing in my own business, and you will be a part of that community. So, and if anything I'm saying resonates with you, you're like, Coach Meg, I need to be part of a community of people who are thinking like that, who are talking a different game. They're not complaining, they're not blaming the government, they're not blaming their past, they're moving forward. Welcome home. Welcome home. Good to see you here. If you are a founder, you've started a new business, you don't need to be stressed out because of what you've heard, what it's like to start a new business. The way of doing business has changed completely. It's changed so much. The game has changed. Everything has changed. Everything has changed. Things don't have to take as long as they used to take in the past. Getting customers and clients doesn't have to take a long time. With some strategy, some forward thinking, some forward planning, you can start getting your ideal customers. And no rush, no pressure. You do it on your own terms, yes? Or you may be switching careers. Like, I'm sure I can be paid more for my skills. You know what you contribute. You understand how good you are at what you do. It's time to renegotiate because your personal brand has changed. It's time to renegotiate for more. No longer waiting for permission. Why? What is that about? You know you're good at what you do. You don't need permission from anyone. It's about negotiating better, higher salary. Because you may not be ready to start your own business. You're like, Meg, I hear you, but I just want to, stay in the same space. Absolutely. So for you, it will be a different type of package. Yes, it will be a different type of personal brand package. It will be a different type. I'm just writing that down because that is so good. I don't want to forget that. In your career and your business. Yes. Or you could be a stay-at-home parent and you've been supporting your kids. Your kids are now getting older and you're like, I need to fill my time with other things. Your partner is working well, they're working hard. You can support them, and before you know it, you might be able to retire them because both of you are hardworking and you want to support each other for quality of life or longevity. Hopefully, you're married to somebody you want to spend the rest of your life with. So that means you have to support each other intentionally, strategically, on purpose. And I believe if you really love somebody, you have to be willing to make some sacrifices. If you are in a relationship with somebody who's not willing to make any sacrifices, do they love you really? Think about it. If you're in a relationship with somebody and they don't love you, they're not willing to make some sacrifices for your sake, do they even care? Healthy parents make sacrifices for their children to make sure that their children navigate the early years of their lives safely so that they can get to a point where they make their own decisions. So the life is about making some sacrifices. But now, never mind anybody else. Think about it for your business, for your own personal brand. Yes? The willingness to make some sacrifices. The willingness to make some sacrifices. So that means you can keep your full-time job, continue. That is amazing. That is incredible. Much respect. But put aside some time, like every day. If it's an hour or two, put aside an hour or two to work on your personal brand. I now do this full time. I used to work in healthcare, like I said, but I now do this full time. Supporting those of you who are professionals in transition, especially if you're in the legal field. I want to help lawyers, I want to help doctors, I want to help founders, consultants, and coaches to build your personal brand intentionally so that you can attract quality clients. Yes, I have a system that I want to help you with so that you can attract quality clients that are going to be fully invested and are willing to do the work. I don't know about you, but do you want people to pay for your services and they're not willing to do the work? It's like, ugh. I know you'll be like, well, Meg, if they don't do the work, I'm paid, that's up to them. I know, I understand human behavior. It is what it is. But imagine offering your services at a higher price range, at a higher price point, so that only those who are willing to invest their time and energy to get things done, they're the only ones who will come through the gates. They're the only ones who will go past a second coaching session with you. I think for me that is better because you can serve them at a higher level, You can serve them at a higher level. You don't want to work with people who you feel like you're doing so much and then you start feeling resentful, like I'm doing so much, but they're not even willing to invest more time and resources. It has to be good for you as well. That's why I'm talking about your personal brand. It has to feel good for you as well. That what I'm doing is helpful, but I'm also well compensated for it. So let's quickly do a little summary. I'm going to take a break now. I can feel it's time for me to pause, take a break. And if you have any more questions, you can go to my page. I do some of my own family content. Sometimes it's just my day to day or where I've been in my journey in life. But if you want to know a little bit more about building your personal brand, uh, make sure you connect. There is a website that I put on here. It's megdeborahcoaching.online. Megdeborahcoaching.online. That website is where you're going to see different packages that I have on offer. Some of them is not even visible there. If you've never made 1,000 online, let's go. Book a session with me. We're going to do a 5-day challenge just for you to help you to build a system that will support you to make your first 1,000 online. Okay? If you've never made 500 online, it just depends where you are. Yes, remember this. Maybe you may just need some encouragement, some inspiration. You may be like, Meg, I'm good. I make good money, but I want to try out this online thing. I want to see if it works for me. No problem. I have a coaching package for you if you just want to make your first 500, because that will inspire you like, oh, okay, because you'll get your money back anyway. If you are willing to do the work and the guidance and support that I'll give you, you can accomplish more than you have invested. My goal, by the way, before I forget to say, my goal is if you invest in any of my coaching, is to double your revenue, even triple it. It could be more. It just depends on what you want to offer, what your services are. So I can't put a blanket statement there, right? I can't put a blanket statement. According to your skill set, what you are good at, I want to help you to become more visible online, what you need to be doing every single day or 3 times a week, because your life may be busy, especially with lawyers. You may, I don't know, the type of lawyer that you are, it's full on, but you don't see yourself doing this for the next 3 years, the next 5 years, even the next 10 years, which is amazing, by the way. If you start now, guess where you will be in 10 years? You will have more opportunities that are available for you. Because remember, with visibility comes more opportunities. With visibility comes more opportunities. You never know. Another organization may want to snap you up and you're not happy where you are. But because you're building your personal brand online, you're visible, you're showing up, you may start getting more offers where you can pick and choose. I love the sound of that. I love the sound of that. So we will build your presence online different things that we need to do. Upgrade your social media presence. We're going to look at your content and everything that you are doing so far. And then we put an attack plan in place. Okay? That's how you have to think about it. That's how you have to think about it. Because remember, you're shifting your energy from this corporate conditioning background. You're used to somebody doing everything for the company and the business. So you've never really done this. Not really, you've never done this for yourself by yourself. Generating your own leads, becoming visible online, asking to be paid, requesting payments, following through with abundant baskets, because sometimes people want to pay for products and services, then they change their mind, understanding the customer journey. It's a bit to go into, but I don't want to bore you with that, and maybe you might feel like, oh my goodness, it sounds like too much work. Coach Meg, just do it for me. Here are the resources. No problem. We can get that done. Okay? But if you're one of those that wants to be a part of doing some of the work done with you, is also known as, that is also fine. By the way, I only have a few spaces. I would like to take on more people on this journey, but I cannot, because I like to serve my clients at a really high level. I can't take as many as get interested in what they listen to, what I talk about. I can only take a few people, okay? That is not me telling you scarcity this, scarcity that. No, that is actually just, I understand my capacity. I understand my capacity, okay? On that note, if you have any questions, you can comment in the comment section any questions you want to ask about personal branding, becoming visible, overcoming fears, and how do I manage the algorithms. And I have heard this doesn't, there's a lot of perspectives, lots of perspectives online. But there's some things that are just fundamental in building a business. Because remember, whether you are aware of it or not, you are a personal brand. Whether anybody knows you online or not, you are already a personal brand. You're already living your personal brand. Because your personal brand is the most authentic version of you. The one behind the scenes, the one that is offline, the one that is alone in your head. Your thought processes, how you see yourself, how you talk to yourself, that's your personal brand. And according to how you talk to yourself, you will build a personal brand or not. So listen, it has been good to hang out with you. I'm going to take a break for this segment because I'm doing more training online. I want to help those of you who understand your expertise and you want to create digital assets online. Let's talk about it. We're going to use AI to speed up the process for you. We will go through all the details, the different things that you need to do. You don't need to struggle with the same stuff. You don't need to feel like it has to always be the same. You don't need to feel like, what do I do? I'm not sure where to start. And talking yourself out of an opportunity. It's easy to do that, right? Listen, I appreciate you. If you have any questions for me, leave a comment below. And for business inquiries only, not for those of you who want me to change my thumbnails, start promoting my YouTube content differently. That email that is there is not for you. I will delete it straight away. I get a lot of messages every now and again, not a lot, a few messages every now and again. People want to tell me how to do my content. I appreciate your comment, I appreciate your contribution, but that email address that is visible is not for you. If you want, you can comment in the comment section. Comment and say, I like what you do, Coach Meg. Could you start doing this, that, and the other? No problem. But if you go to my email address, I'll block you straight away. Okay? That email address is only for those of you who are determined and you are ready to take action. You don't want to wait. That reminds me, it will be Christmas soon. It's going to be Christmas soon. You don't want to be stressed out, wondering what the heck you're going to do. You don't want to get into debt, borrowing money left, right, and center. Let's work on an action plan, okay? So that email address is for you. And if there's any other questions you have, just comment in the comment section like I said before, and let's do this. This is only for those of you who don't give excuses. Those of you who realize you are aware enough that if I don't make any changes, nothing is going to change. Everything is going to stay the same. And then you will start blaming the government or your past or your church or your pastor or your husband or your wife. Remember, you have autonomy and agency. You have autonomy and agency. I appreciate you. See you on the next video. By the way, quickly go and check some of my videos. I've got quite a few on here, and I'm also on other platforms. I've put the links everywhere. Go check me out. You'll find me on LinkedIn as well. Right now, I've given myself a 30-day challenge. It is exciting. It is good fun. I just want to see. I've never really given LinkedIn that kind of focus before, but I'm already noticing a difference by showing up my impressions. I can see some difference. It's really good. So I appreciate you. See you on the next video.